So guys, welcome to B Sports Picks. So there's been a couple of days where the VIP and the free picks, yesterday we actually won, but the overall picture in the last week and a half or so has not been great. And this is just part of this business. If you can't handle 1 day, 2 days, especially like if you cannot handle like a week of losses, then you really should not be doing this. I learned this the hard way. When I first started, I made $7,000 in my first 2 months. And then I went on a slump for like the next 3 months. I almost quit when I hit that very bad slump. So you have to make a decision yourself. If you cannot handle 1 week loss, you should not be doing this. The best people in the world, they hit at a 53% hit rate. That means that 47% of the time you're taking losses. Enough about that. One of the big things that I realized also is that for about a week and a half, during the All-Star break for the NBA, I kept saying, be careful. After the All-Star break, they come back and, everything changes. The rosters change, the motivation changes, some teams start slumping on purpose. There's a lot of things that happen after the All-Star break that we need to be aware of. And the final thing I'll say is that I messed up because I actually raised my unit size at the same time that I should have been actually going backwards, because I was winning before the All-Star break. And then after the All-Star break, I started losing, and I raised my unit size right as I started losing. So long story short, just be careful with your bankroll. I am going to give you guys a strong play that I really like. It's probably the best play on the board today. So the first thing I want to talk about here is these points, rebounds, and assists. Now, these points, rebounds, and assists, all they are is hot streaks. They're not final plays. They're not the plays that I'm going with. All right, again, shots on goal. Take a screenshot. Look at this guy, Dougie Hamilton. 9 games in a row he's hit this line. This is just strong streaks. Again, you have to do your own research. For example, you would have to look at the opposite team, how good they are against the defense and stuff like that. Or it's basically I'm going back to my bankroll of $50 instead of 75. I had raised it at the wrong time. Also, baseball, like I just said, has been great, especially the under stolen bases. We were hitting at about a 95% hit rate, which is insane to even say, for the under stolen bases, which I can't wait for. Also, post All-Star break, I've already talked about this. There's a lot of shifts that are happening. I explained all this, but then I didn't listen to myself. We expected volatility, and that's why bankroll management matters. Even though I've lost a couple of days, it doesn't really affect my bankroll too much because I manage it well. Let me kind of go through what happened yesterday, and then I'll get right into into the plays. So yesterday we took Duke at a minus 550 just to win straight up. They ended up winning by, 30, like by 30 points. And then Eastern Michigan, I was watching the end of that game. They were just looking sloppy as hell. They were at home. They were supposed to win this pretty easily. They did not. So that killed that parlay. Then we had the Clippers. They were looking horrible. So I was like, damn, what the hell is going on here? Golden State had the G squad out there, and they were whooping on the Clippers. They were actually losing by, I think, 20 points at some point in the game. Somehow the Clippers ended up coming back and winning by 13. So that was a good win for us. One thing I didn't note about the Clippers is that whenever they were on a back-to-back, which they were yesterday, they ended up, they were only hitting at like a 10% hit rate. So they ended up winning for us, but that's something to be aware of for the future. This one was not good at all. I'm actually going to stay away from points, rebounds, and assists. I bought this back dramatically for this guy, for the Joker. You can see this was 34, 39. So he hit 39 instead of 45. This guy also was very close, but he didn't hit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stay away from points, rebounds, and assists for a while until I can get a handle on a better system. And then the last one I'll talk about here was the Rockets. The Rockets ended up winning this game. They were supposed to win this by 17, I believe was the crazy line. I bought it all the way back to a 7.5. You can see how crazy the odds were for even a 7.5. They ended up winning by 5. So we lost that bet. Again, the under was very easy. I did talk about this under on yesterday's video, but it did not hit because of the Rockets. So the ones that are looking decent, I'll just give you the overall picture. Okay, let me answer some questions. You ever mess with college basketball? Yes. I'm gonna talk about college basketball today. Appreciate the methodical you are, in depth you are with the picks. Can't believe someone was chirping you. It's all right, man. No worries. I've been doing this for a long time. I used to get a lot of hatred. This guy wasn't really hating. He's just that he bought the VIP and he bought it right at the exact time that we started slumping. So it is what it is. I understand that. I gave him a free week because I do have a guarantee that if you're not profitable for the first week, I give you another week for free. So he took advantage of that. I hooked him up for a free week and we go from there. I won last night. Cool, man. Any over-unders that you like? Yes, I'm going to talk about it right now. The back-to-back report, I talk about this every day, is you want to make sure to see who is playing and who did they play against. Or, I'm sorry. So if they're playing today and they're on a second leg, and especially if they traveled, you want to pay attention to that because you want to fade that team. So again, the example was the Clippers. Yesterday, the Clippers were on a back-to-back. They traveled, and then they went to San Francisco area, Golden State, and they ended up almost losing that game because they were on a second leg of a back-to-back. I hope you guys can't hear that. It's a damn alarm. It's loud. Anyway, Duran. Okay, somebody's saying here to check that out. I'm not going to look into that, but you guys want to check that out. Okay, cool. So anyways, let's get into this back-to-back. Orlando is on a rest advantage. As if you pay any attention to basketball, is that the Wizards are just straight trash. They've been straight trash for the last 4 seasons. This year is no different at all. So this is a horrible team. They did finally get some decent players, but they still suck. They're going against Orlando, which is a great team, and Orlando is rested. Now, let me kind of go through this. The projected scores is Hornets are supposed to win this by 12. Pistons supposed to win this by 3. Again, the Wizards are on a back-to-back. That's the only team that's on a back-to-back today. They're going against the Magic. You can see the Magic is supposed to win this by, 18? Something like that, 18. The Heat is supposed to win by 12. The Raptors are supposed to win by 2. Spurs are supposed to win by 8. The Thunder is supposed to win by 8. Timberwolves are supposed to win by 10. Lakers are supposed to win by 10. And then the Suns are supposed to win by 8. Another team that does suck is the Kings. So whenever I see the Kings on the board, I try to see if we can fade them. I didn't see anything pop up today for that game, but the one that I really do love is Detroit today. So for the Pistons and the Cleveland, I'm looking on the under on this game. You can see I'm also liking the spread, but I don't like the fact that the line hasn't shifted here. Let me make sure that this is still the case, and then we'll go from there. But I do like the under on this game. Let's take a look. Pistons. Yeah, so it did shift very slightly. This did get updated from a 1.5 to a 2. So it's a very, very slight line move. Now I am looking at the over-unders. So you can see right here, the under is 228. It's down to a 226. So it's a slight line move down, even though 86% of the bets, 85% of the money is coming in on the over. The line is shifting down. So this is a reverse line move. Then we got the Cavaliers over here. Sorry, the Pistons. In the last 21 games, they're 14-7, meaning 66% of their games are going on the under. I have a bunch of other information in here. Let's take a look. Great defense for both sides. They also have great offense, so it does affect that score. There's a deeper research button here. I'm not going to get into that because I've already done it. But there's also the injury report. You can see Donovan Mitchell is their star. He's out. Strus is out. And then Wade is questionable. So for all these reasons, because the line is shifting down, the injury report, Donovan Mitchell is out. James Harden is playing, but he has a broken thumb, it says. Non-shooting hand. What the hell? He's playing with a broken thumb? That's crazy. I gotta confirm that. I really love this play. This is one of the best plays that I like, is the Pistons to go on the under. Let's just run some quick numbers again, and then I'll get into the next play that I like. And then I'll explain some other stuff. I'm going to go through college as well. I have a bunch of notes in here too. So if you guys want to stick around for that, let's run the numbers. So 116 on the Pistons, 113 on the Cavs. That's 229. And again, that's right at that opening line, a little bit above it. And then the line did shift down. So I really do like the under on this one. I actually bought it back to about 235 or something like that. I bought it back to like 235, and then I ended up putting in a very heavy favorite, which is, let me see the next game, which is the Charlotte Hornets. I took the money line on the Charlotte Hornets, and then I bought back. I'm sorry, it's not the Hornets. It's sorry, give me a second. Orlando. So I ended up taking Orlando on the money line, which is super expensive, because you can see right here they're supposed to win this by 15. I bought it all the way back to the money line, and then I parlayed that with the under on Detroit. That's the way I played that one. One other thing to note is because whenever this transition is happening for the All-Star break, the new players, I saw Garland playing with the Clippers, and you can tell that they were off sync because he just got traded over there. So there was a lot of things like that I noticed that the team is just not in sync because the players are new and stuff like that. So I'm buying back the extra points just to get an extra cushion until this kind of levels out again. All right. Yes, Harden wants to avoid surgery, so he's going to play through the fractured thumb injury. That's insane. He does. He was on the news. Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know. So that's going to affect the under. Let's put it that way. It's telling me I should be looking at the Washington and Orlando on the under. So let's take a look. This is this one here. So if we do the math here, that's 230. It did start at 229. It's currently at 227. The Wizards on whenever they're as underdogs, they're hitting this under at a 70% hit rate. Their defense does suck. This actually burned us last time. I'm staying away from this because there's many reasons. The first one is that the defense sucks for Washington. The other one is that the line, you can see they're supposed to win this 95% chance they're going to win this game. But the crazier one is that this line shifted all the way to 16. So what this means is that it should be a blowout. And what happens is that there's a lot of garbage time and there's a lot of points that are scored and they just kind of give up on defense. Also, you can see how many injuries are over here. I don't like this at all. You might want to look at the under. I'm not going to touch it because of the reason I just said. All right, let's keep going here. I do like the Magic overall. I actually like them on the original spread at the 11.5. I actually bought it back a few more points because, like I said, I took the money line on a different parlay. But on the open here with the 11.5, what I did is I searched. I did my research on the Wizards. Whenever the Wizards are on a back-to-back, they're known to get blown out. But I also did the research on how much do they get blown out by, and they normally get blown out by 15 points or more. You can see right here the Magic do cover spreads, but they don't cover those dramatic spreads of 16. However, Wizards are on a back-to-back. So I actually like the Magic. I don't like it at this. I bought it back an extra few points, and then I also took them on the money line. All right, let's take another look here. Okay, this one also says to look at the Hornets to win by 12. Let's take a look. Charlotte opened up at a 9.5. It's currently at a 12.5. Let me show you what I'm looking at, how I come up with this stuff. So I have something called, I have something like this. I get it every morning. I'm going to start throwing this into the Discord. And this just kind of gives me an update on what I should be looking at, what I should be staying away from. Look at all this stuff. It's a lot of stuff here. So this is part of the SharpEdge stuff. This is actually what builds the SharpEdge every morning. But anyways, I just wanted to show. Ones that do stand out is Seed and State. Let's take a look here. Seed and Hall, I mean, not Seed and State. So check this out. They're supposed to win this by 1. I think the current line is -1. The Pirates, which is Seed and Hall, they've won this 10 out of the last 12 games. For you guys, that's actually going to be part of the Discord now too. So that's what I'm looking at. Charlotte 9.5 went to 15. I'm sorry, 12.5. The line is aligned. I'm sorry, the public is aligned with the sharp line. Hornets do cover the spreads 90% of the time. Damn, that's insane. Mavericks are just straight trash over here, 22% in the last 18 games on the road. What else? Hornets don't have decent defense. I'm sorry, Dallas has horrible defense, but Charlotte doesn't have that much of a great defense either. They do have great offense, 88% chance to win. What else? Points per game. Opponents' points per game. So yeah, I like the Hornets. I'm probably going to buy this back to the original opening line. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to do the Hornets. I'll probably buy it back to the original opening line, or I'll use it as a parlay piece on an under or something like that. They covered the spread at an 80% hit rate. Projections do show they're supposed to win this by 1.5. Overall, 55% chance to win. They do have an overall 91% chance. 91% overall team compared to an 88%. These guys do have better defense. I'm sorry, better offense, but these guys have amazing defense. So that should be like a wash on that one. Opponents' points per game, meaning that how many points they allow. They allow about 80 points. These guys only allow about 65 points. So that's dramatic, and that goes back to the defense. They have amazing defense. They're holding teams back to about 65 points. So I'm actually going to take another closer look at that. I'm probably going to take the Seton Hall at the -1 or something like that. Or I might just buy it back. Like I said, I'll use the Hornets now at the money line, and I'll probably do Seton Hall at probably like a +10 or something like that. What else do we got? Let's go back over here. And look how many games are here. This is insane. This just goes on and on and on. Look how many games. So let's see. Tennessee is supposed to win this by 10. This one does show. I'm not going to get to every one of these details because it's a lot. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's about 19 plays to take a look at, which I'm not going to do right now. It'll just take forever. But the one that does stand out, like I said, is the Tennessee Volunteers, to take a look at that. The other one that stood out is Cincinnati. Let me take a look at Cincinnati. This one, actually, I did take a look at it, and I didn't end up liking it because you can see right here they're hitting at an 89% hit rate. So I don't like that. I immediately stopped looking at this because Cincinnati, it says that they're supposed to win this, but projections show they're supposed to lose this by 1, and Cougars are hitting at an 89% hit rate whenever they start. Sorry, give me a second. Anyways, they're hitting at an 89% hit rate. I don't like that. All right, any thoughts on Toledo? Let's take a look. So Miami shows they're supposed to win this by 8. The Rockets, they are only hitting at a 29% hit rate. So let's take a look here. The defense is pretty much a wash. It does say Miami, Ohio has a win probability of 75%. Now to cover the spread, we'll see. Points per game, 87 to 9, right around the 8. Opponents' points per game, they actually allow less points over here, but these guys do score they allow about 79 points, 80. They are 19-7, so they are covering a lot of spreads, and Toledo's right around 50%. So Miami, Ohio does cover spreads 19-7. As a favorite and an underdog, so Miami, whenever they're favorites by, like today, whenever they're favored by 8.5 or more, like they are today, they cover this even higher at a higher hit rate. So you might want to check that out. I'm not going to touch it because I haven't done the research behind this, but it looks decent. So anyway, this tool right here, it tells you where people are placing their bets, how much money they have, where, for example, let me sort by the balance. You can see this guy has $3 million in his bank inside of Polymarket, and his total profit and loss, he's actually made $8 million. This guy has made 17 million. This guy has made 5 million. This guy has made 3 million. This guy has made 1 million. This guy has made 6. This guy has made 9. This guy has 1.7. And it tells you their hit rate right here. So if you start following these guys and they have active bets, you have a high chance of hitting. I hope that's making sense. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and then that should be it. Any thoughts on the covering? Okay, I already talked about that. I do like Miami to cover. It's hard to go against the wagon. Okay, over under. So Seahawks 80, Phoenix 74. So right away you can see that they're supposed to win this by 6, but then you got the Seahawks at Phoenix. So the Seahawks do cover the spread, or have won this 84% of the time against them. So that's already a positive. So yeah, they end up winning whenever they play each other. 69% chance they're going to win, 88% chance, 82% great defense. These guys have horrible offense. Points per game over here, these guys do have a lot. They allow a lot of points, 80 points. These guys allow 67 points. Yeah, Seahawks are looking decent. I wouldn't touch the spread, but you might want to look at the under or buy back a few points there because there is a few contradictions. Actually, not really. 70% hit rate. Yeah, this looks decent, actually. UNC. Let me see if anything else came up over here. Clemson. Clemson, Tennessee, UVA. Now that I'm looking at my notes, I should have been looking at my damn notes the whole time. It does say that Miami, Ohio should win this even on the spread of a -8.5. What else do we got? BYU versus Cincinnati. It's saying to go with the Cincinnati. I'll kind of just read my notes real quick. These are the games that I told you. There's like 19 of them. I'm not gonna go with all of these, but I'll just give you my notes so you can take a look. Tennessee is supposed to win by 9. UVA supposed to win by 15. Miami, Ohio supposed to win by 9. Seton Hall supposed to win straight up. Detroit Pistons supposed to win at a +1.5. Toronto Raptors is supposed to win by, you can get them at a +3.5. The Spurs are looking like a -7.5. Clemson and UNC. Clemson at a +3.5, and so on. The next ones I already mentioned is Detroit and Cleveland on the under. That's what I'm taking for sure. And the other one was, what else did we talk about? I like the Hornets. I like the under on this one. I like the Magic. I think the Magic is the best play on the board. And then we got the Spurs are supposed to win this also. And then I was looking at the Thunder, but the line is shifting in the wrong direction. So I'm staying away from that one. I would just parlay the UNBC and Williamton money line. That looks decent. Cool, man. Appreciate you all. All right, guys. I'll probably plan on putting up a live maybe once per week and just kind of catch up with everybody and answer questions and stuff like that. I did add, like I mentioned, this 2 weeks for free on the SharpEdge, but I also did add a SharpEdge chat inside of Discord. So if you want Discord, I'm offering that for 7 days for free. You can check the link in the description for that. And then I'm throwing up a lot of information inside the Discord. I'll talk about it on a separate video. I don't want to show the live Discord right now, but I'll talk about it on a different video. I'm putting up a lot of value. I'm giving up a lot of plays. There's a lot of information in there. There's actually a bet tracker that I'm keeping track of everything that I'm showing. So I'm really putting a strong effort into the Discord, and that's going to be there's going to be a chat inside the Discord for the SharpEdge specifically. So if you guys want to check that out. Clemson money line tonight. Check that out, guys. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day.